Hello. Today I'm going to show you how to create calendars on index cards. It's very simple. I'm going to go with you step by step. So let's get started. First, we're going to open up our one page in Word. And after we've opened up our page in Word, we actually want to set our page layout. So where we're going to go for our page layout, we're going to go to Layout. And we're going to go to Align, and we want to make sure that we have Align to Margin and use alignment guides. After that, and I already have these checked, after that, we now want to go to Margins. And normally I set my margins to 0.5, which means there's 0.5 in the top, bottom, right, and left. So we're going to click that, which is considered to be narrow. And if you notice, my cursor moved from here to here. Next, our orientation. We either want portrait or landscape. We're going to do landscape with this, being that it will give us more space of how we want to do our index cards. Next, with our size, we're going to actually leave it at 8.5 by 11, because most of the time you're going to cut these out. If you cut them even with a slicer or you use them on your cutting machine. So we're going to use it, we're going to keep this at 8.5 by 11. Okay, and the next thing we want to make sure that we have as part of our layout is View. We're going to go to View. And with View, we want to make sure that we have Ruler in order that we can actually see here on both sides. Okay, so we have View and Ruler. And after that, we're going to get started. So let's get started. We want to be able to make an index card 4 by 6. Okay, so how we're going to do that is first we're going to create our template, our 4 by 6 template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a text box. And with that, we're going to use a simple text box. So here's our text box, and we can, if you notice, you see your ruler marks, and it goes all the way to the top. This is where our 0.5s are at the top, 0.5 at the left. We have 0.5 here at the right, and then if we go down, it's at the bottom as well. So that is what your ruler marks do for you. Okay, so we're going to take this out because we're going to use this space. And we want to be able to make this a 4. And normally, if you look at the right-hand side of your ruler, you can actually see where you are. So we're going to bring this down, make that 4. We're going to do 6 across. Now, you can make your index cards the size that you prefer, but I'm going to do 4 to 6. That's normally what index cards are, 4 by 6. So we're going to make that 4 by 6. In here, we want to be able to put a calendar. I want a place that I can actually put a photo, and also I want writing lines at the bottom for notes that I want to be able to make. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to insert our calendar. And Word has made it easy for it to give you a calendar format. So we're going to look at the calendar format, insert, and then you're going to hit tables. Go down to quick tables. And if you look at those, these are the built-in calendars that they have. Now, let me warn you, these calendars are just set as calendars. They are just templates. You have to go in and actually change your date. If you notice on this one, it starts Monday, it ends on Sunday. This one actually starts on Sunday and ends on Saturday. So it's according to what built-in calendar you actually want to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use calendar 2. Okay, so we're going to click here, and calendar 2 is inserted. Now, this says the month of May, but we're currently in the month of July. So we're going to change that. We're going to change our days of the week, and we're going to change this as well, okay, in order that we line up with 2020. So first, let's just change this, and we're going to make it as July. And if you want to, you can put your year here. Now you can actually change it to be any color that you want it to be. So we're going to go back to home, and we can change our color here. If we want our color to be, let's just say we're going to have let's pick another color, this nice little blue. Going to have blue. But also you can actually go into and change your fonts to whatever you want your fonts to be. And make sure that, whatever font you have, if you're going to sell it, make sure that it's a font that you can actually, if it's a font that you have purchased, make sure that you can use it for commercial use. So here we've changed our font here. And so I want to actually change this to start. I want my week to start on a Sunday and end on a Saturday. So we highlight this. What we're going to do is click here, and we can just highlight that. And so I'm going to start on Sunday. And then I'm just going to tab, go to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. But I want to change these as well, so we're going to change it to this color as well. Now, we know that the month of July of 2020 actually starts on Wednesday. And this is a little trick that I do. You can actually go in and put your numbers here. If you like, you can actually go and, if you want to start here, you can put your number 1 here. But for me, I do it a little bit more, a different way. So let me show you how I do it. I actually take all of this, I right click, and I cut it out. So my month actually starts on a Wednesday. So I start here, I click into my Wednesday, I copy and paste. Well, I've already copied, so I paste, Control V, and this is what I have now. It looks as if there's some missing pieces to this here. So I should have started on Wednesday. So let's redo that. And I'm going to put it in Tuesday because Wednesday is actually, it's a blank. So now this is what I have. But however, I have these 8 numbers are here. So I'm going to take those, cut those here, go to Sunday, the row that they should be in, Control V, copy and paste. Okay, now we don't need this, so we're going to delete that. Right click, and we're going to delete cell. And we don't need this one, and we're going to delete that one as well. Okay, so now we have our calendar. So if you want to change these, the numbers, that you can actually change them to whatever color you want to change them. So here you see this smaller square. This square, you can actually move this down, around, any kind of way you want it. Small, make it the entire piece. So we're going to let it be here. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, I want to be able to include a picture here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Insert tab, Insert, and I'm going to go to Text Box. And so for my text box, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a text box where I can actually include my picture. And this is only going to be my holding space for my picture. And I'll show you why. So I just want to make sure that my picture lines up with my words here, my calendar. So then I'm going to insert, and I'm going to go to picture. It has this device. So I have pictures on my device that I actually want to use. So I'm going to go here, and this is one of the pictures that I want. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to hit insert. Now, that's the picture that I have here, but I don't want this frame around it. So I'm going to right click here. I'm going to go to outline, and I'm going to put no outline. So now I have this picture here. If I want to make it bigger, I can, but you really don't see it here. Okay. If I actually want to put it back to where it was, it's here. Okay, so we don't have to do anything else with this because now once you click off it, this is my picture. You don't know that this is here. Now I want to be able to make lines here for writing, just smaller notes. So I'm going to come down. I spaced down a little because I want my notes to start here. So I'm going to go back to insert again. And I'm going to go to tables this time. And I want to have at least 4 lines here. Or maybe 5. We'll go with 5 lines. So I click 1 by 5. That's my table. Insert it there. So now I have 5 lines, but I don't want to have the border on the right or the border on the left. So I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to right click under my borders here. And I'm going to go where I can remove my right border. I'm going to go again where I can remove my left border. And then I don't want this line across the top here. So I'm going to remove that one across the top in order that I only have 5 lines. And so again, here we are. Now, it seems as if you can see these dot grids at the top and on the side, but once you go to print, this is how it will look. This is how it actually looks when you go to print, okay? But again, I don't want this barrier. I don't want this border here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna right click here. And I'm gonna go to outline again and no outline. And so even though it looks strange, this is what it's gonna look like. And normally I go to print because in view, sometimes you really don't get the gist of what it's gonna look like when it prints. This is what you would get when you get ready to print it. Now, you might wanna go back and keep that border if you're just gonna cut it, if you're gonna hand cut it, or if you wanna cut it on your silhouette or your cutting machine. So we can go back and we can have this border to let us know that this is a 4x6. Okay, so let's go through it again. So once you make one, you can actually, if you want to, you can actually take this border and we're going to take this piece as well. If it allows me to grab it. So I want to be able to grab all of this. I'm going to move this over. Make sure that we have the right space because we don't want there to be an overlap when we get ready to print it. We don't want there to be an overlap when we're printing. So you can actually take this, your border, you can copy, and if being the way that we laid it out, you really don't have enough space to actually put it here. But everything comes over. If you notice, everything comes over. So let's do it this way. We're going to insert us another page. And you can actually, if you actually do it when you do your layout, if you want to change your orientation to portrait, then we see it this way. And you could actually be able to, nothing actually really changed here. We still have our 6x4 here. And so if we want to be able to go and actually add another one, we can just Control F because we copied and paste. It actually gets us 2 on a page. I'm going to bring it down a little. Here, we want to be able to insert our photo again. So let's go to another picture and we'll bring in another photo. And this one is kind of big, so we're going to resize it. And we're going to make this the size that we need in order to fit in our And so now you have, if we want to change this to August, we can change this to August 2020. We still have our days here. And we know that August starts on the first starts on a Saturday. Okay. So then you would just actually, however you want to do, take this out and enter in again your numbers if you like. And you could just type in your numbers. And just type in your numbers as you go. Well, 19 doesn't come after 9, does it? And you would just continue to complete that until you actually finish entering in all your dates, your days, and then you just would have a calendar. To me, it is more simpler, and I'm doing it this way in order that you can see it done that way, being that I copied and pasted the first time. So you will be able to see these. Now, this is going to be different. So I'm gonna enter this one in all the way in order that you can actually see what happens, because we're not gonna have enough space for our last 2 days. Okay, so now we have 29, but August ends day 31. So we need to actually take this, and we want to be able to create another table here. So here it says insert, because I right-clicked, highlighted, right-click, or here you can insert, but that would only give you one. We want to be able to insert our entire row below. Okay, so let me click here and show you what it looks like. And there we go. So we want to be able to align this picture, so we make it a little bit bigger to align with. And now we have a space for day 30 and day 31. And that's our month of August. And we still have our note lines here. So this is what we look like. Let's see, we're going to go to file. We're going to go to print again. This is how I want to see it. So now we want to move this. We're going to have to move this up because it doesn't align with those. So we want to bring it up a little bit. And that is very simple here where you see the cross. And you just want to be able to bring this up. You can shift it how you want to, move it how you want to. You want to bring it up a little. And so we are able to bring it up a little. And so we can shift it here. We want to make it that way, but we want to keep it in the same as it currently is. Okay, so now we have 2 days. We have, with 2 months, we have July and we have August. We have 2 photos that we have put in. We have our line grid as well in order to actually write our lines. But for me, again, you can go to view, and a lot of people go to view in order that they can see what that actual layout looks like. I like to see it in print in order that I can see truly how it's going to print when I get ready to print it. Again, don't forget to take off, if you want to leave these as your grid for cutting. But if not, you can actually remove those and just right click and we'll remove the outline. So this is what it will actually look like. So this is, once you cut it, your index card, it's going to look this way. Okay, so the same as with this one. Once we remove our outline, it's going to look like this. Okay, so hopefully I have answered the question of how to create calendars on index cards. You can create this not just on index cards, but you could actually create it as part of a calendar, as a book, part of a small planner if you prefer. It's limitless of actually what you can do with this. So hopefully I've answered all your questions. If not, put your questions in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. And thank you all for joining me.